What's up, everybody? This is Jason back with Campbell's Morel Music Rig Rundown, episode 34. Nice. We're back on track, and I'm starting to remember all the episodes now. They're coming back to me.
Good job.
And couldn't find a bass player to do this week, so we had to get a drummer.
I'm so sorry. It's terrible.
So yeah, we got a fine drummer, Kip Borodzik.
You said it right, yeah.
Of Daniel Bird and the Boogie Machine, Appalachian Death Cult, and fill in for the Dime Store Cowboys every once in a while.
That's right.
So thanks for being here.
Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure.
And we're going to make her play all this technical drum stuff tonight and show you all how it's done and talk about her gear. And we love having drummers here. And Scott Thomas loves to watch drum rig rundown, so we can talk crap
Scott
about
Thomas. Should we talk about Scott?
it. We will.
Okay.
We will.
Good.
We got to save him for later.
Okay. I'm ready.
But yeah, so we'll just jump right into your kit.
All right.
And we'll talk about what this kit is, and you probably know more about it than I do.
Well, it is drums, if that's helpful to you. No, it is my kit. I hope I know a little bit about it. It is a Tama. It is a 90s Star Classic. It is the real deal. Those of you who know about Tamas, you know. Has the actual metal badges on all of the drums. This kit came from Campbell's Morel Music, of course. Everything here did, I believe. The only difference between this kit and an actual full-on Star Classic is I am missing the floor tom. And the floor tom that I use is actually the J Sound Imperial Star, and that is the floor tom from that kit, which is also at my house. I have a lot of Tama drums. So.
And you've got this other tom kind of set up like another floor tom.
Yeah, so when we're playing on a really small stage especially, I usually leave this one at home. This is a 16-incher, so it does take up quite a bit of space. And if we don't have, a large footprint for the drums, I will play this one as like an auxiliary floor tom, even though it is mounted. I prefer the floor tom, the 16-inch. This one is only a 14. But it's got decent sound. If you've ever played like a mounted floor tom, though, you know that balancing it can be a bit of a pain. Luckily, I've got like a really solid accessory arm that also came from here that does a really great job with bracing it. So
I noticed that Josh Brock from Wind Rider does the same thing.
Yes.
On the fake floor tom.
Fake floor tom. It is fake. It is not on the floor.
It's floating floor tom.
Yes, it is floating magically. Everything Josh does is awesome. So if he's doing it, I feel better about it.
Yeah. So Kip's playing this Tama kit, and we haven't had Tama in here in a while, and she's convinced us to start carrying Tama again. So we've ordered 3 new Tama kits, so y'all need to come check those out. We got the two
Imperial Star.
Imperial Star, and what's the other two?
2 stage stars.
Yeah.
Right now on the floor there is the Imperial Star, which is a coffee teak wrap, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And that one you can get with all the hardware and stuff. Highly recommend. And the 2 stage, this 2 stage stars are red sparkle and a green sparkle. You should come check them out. They're beautiful.
Yeah, really affordable for an all-around kit, and good cymbals and stands, and sound great. So
yeah, they're
come
gorgeous.
Get those for Christmas.
Get both.
And we do layaway.
That's how I got this kit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And all your hardware Tama, or most of your hardware Tama?
Most of it's kind of a ragtag collection of hardware at this point. I do have one pearl stand. It is sinful, but there it is. And right now I have the Ludwig hat stand instead of the Tama because it's currently being worked on at my home. I'm changing out some of the pieces in it to make it a little bit smoother. But yeah, otherwise it's all the original hardware that came with this Star Classic from the 90s, except for my pedal, which also came from Campbell's Morel Music. Can't recommend that enough. Which actually, if you want, I will take that off and show you guys because this one's pretty neat. So my kick pedal is a little bit different than a lot of them that you'll see. It is a direct drive, which is super cool, but this is a PDP Pacific BOA. They did not make this line of kick pedals for very long. It has this really interesting, very flat polymer footboard, which slides in and out to change the tension. This got a lot of mixed reviews when they came out because people, I think the real problem is it is a pain in the butt to get tuned in exactly where you want it. Every single piece on this is maneuverable. My favorite thing though is that it has a spot in the very bottom of it for the accessory key. So if you need to change anything on the run, it's always right there, with Allen keys and a regular drum key. But I really love this one because it is so sensitive. It responds, the second you look at it, you're already hitting the kick drum. And if you ever find a double of these, you call me right now because I will purchase that immediately. But yeah, highly recommend a direct drive anyway, but it took me some time to get used to that pedal, but I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I like the little bit that I know about drums and played, I like direct drive pedals too, just the way they react to they're instant reaction instead of a changer, where there might be a little bit of a slag in there. But
yeah, a lot of really good drummers say that it's your technique and it's on you and there is no chain lag, but I will die on that hill. I think that there is a very large difference playing direct drive and playing with a chain pedal, that you feel the lag after a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, the rest of the kit, this one came with a 10-inch and a 12-inch rack tom, 14-inch, and then I have the 16 here. I do have several snares with me as well because I couldn't decide which one to bring. But the one that I have on the kit right now is the original that came with the kit. So yeah.
And Evans heads all the way around?
Evans heads all the way around. All the way. Every single one of them. Which, if you ever come to the drum department, you'll see the Evans stay stocked because I'm all about them. They do a really great job with their customer service, first of all, but also just the quality in an Evans head. A lot of people go back and forth between Evans and Remo, but I've never once broken a head. Even when they get tossed around in the car, even when I'm playing with Appalachian Death Cult, no matter how hard I try, I have not yet broken one. These are all pretty much G2s, very standard tom heads, except for the snare, obviously, which is the Evans Heavyweight Dry, which has a really great tone, has extra support on the bottom side of the batter head, and just, I don't know, something about it. It's very, very crisp, but keeps a lot of those heavier tones.
Yeah. Yeah, I say let's you can play each drum individually. Sure. And kind of hear what they sound like individually.
Yeah. So I will say I am a big fan of undertuning my drums. Sorry, everyone, especially you, Josh Brock, who actually focuses in on that. Between the blues with Daniel Byrd's Boogie Machine and Appalachian Death Cult, you'll probably notice my drums have a very wet sound compared to a lot of the drummers in the area. So don't judge my heads for that. So kick, obviously. That one I keep really low. You can, if from back here, you can even see the head really moves a lot when I kick that. We'll do toms next, I guess. So the 10-inch, my snare now so you can actually hear it. The 12-inch, 14, and 16. I do also have, I didn't bring it tonight, but I do also have an auxiliary snom that I keep tuned really, really low. I don't usually bring that one out. I will use it as kind of a side snare for the most part. If you've not played one, they're really, really fun though. It's a floor tom with a snare attachment. But they are harder to keep in tune and they kind of change the sound of your whole kit when you play them. So I usually prefer to keep this line up. Yeah, and that also has Evans heads.
Yeah. The 14 and 16 sound great, that deep tone. I love those deep floor toms for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, especially with ADC, Appalachian Death Cult, getting the toms nice and low for those little fills. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to jump to cymbals or?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. So, where to start? I guess we can start with my hats. This is the one thing that I usually get compliments on when other drummers are listening to my kit or looking at my kit or playing my kit, are my hi-hats. These are 14-inch Dave Weckl signature HHX Evolution hats. The bottom hat is super heavy, which gives it like those nice low tones. And the top hat, I think they both are actually, but the top hat is hammered. So it's got just like tiny little bit of hammering going on there. So you get like those really crisp, like kind of punky tones when they're loose. But that lower hat really helps to balance those tones out nicely. I have so many other cymbals. So these are like, anytime you see me, I don't play a lot of really choppy stuff, and I don't play a lot of really fancy things, and I don't play a lot of cymbals, honestly. I like to focus on the toms. So these three are the ones that you will always see me playing with. This is a 16-inch Zildjian Trash Crash. This is my baby. When I started playing drums, this was like the first piece of gear that I was like drooling over. I was like, I've got to have that. It's got a really washy sound, but a little bit more sustained than a lot of Trash Crashes tend to, I think, because the holes tend to be a little bit smaller. Also, you know, to gauge the size of those if you can't see. I have yet to break this, which I was warned against getting a crash for that reason. I have not cracked that yet. I hope that stays that way. And this one is my baby too. They all are. This is my 21-inch Peisty 404. It is a medium ride. My only complaint about this is that the bell isn't quite as big as I would prefer, but this is a very solid ride. It puts up with a lot of torture for me, and it does have a decent bell tone, which I will not play right next to your face because I know how much you love that.
You hear that, Scott Thomas?
I love you, Scott. I didn't say that.
She's not going to kill me with the bell.
I'm going to. Not till Doom practice. Yeah, so the differences in sounds are pretty distinct on all three of these cymbals. The hats have like a little deeper, same with this, and that is just like washy and high, and I love it. But it allows me to kind of get a wider range of tones when I'm playing, which I really appreciate, because like I said, I don't play a lot of really choppy stuff. Especially being in a blues band, a lot of what I do needs to be pocket, it needs to be groove, it needs to be feel. So I rely on having a lot of different sounds to make it more melodic, which actually Mitch, season of the Mitch, the first time we met and played together over at Capone's, he was like, why do you have so many drums? Because he only plays with like the one up, one down. And I was like, why do you have so many cymbals? But like it ended up being for the same reasons. He does a lot more with that, and I do a lot more with these tones, which if you don't know Season of the Witch, you should. They're amazing.
You should. We had Nick on last week, and we're going to have Mikey next week, right?
Hey, awesome.
Yeah, so we can't wait for that one. And I noticed on your snare there's like this leather strap on there. Is that just for decoration, or is that?
Yeah, I think it looks really pretty. Everyone likes to come behind the drum kit and look at it now. So this is a tone ring. Essentially, it is a snare weight. It's leather, and it's got a little bit of a magnetic clip to it. I do use moon gels quite a bit on all of my drums to kind of dampen those overtones a little bit, and I always have them on me, so if you ever see me and need any moon gels, they're probably 8 packs in my pocket. But especially with the two snares that I go back and forth with, they tend to have a little bit more like of the higher tones that I don't want for blues or for doom. So I do rely on the snare weight quite a bit for that.
Well, I guess let's hear this whole kit in action. Just whatever kind of grooves you want to play,
Sure.
And then maybe we'll talk about your couple other drums you brought.
My other snares.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the bands and
great.
what all they're doing.
Yeah, so I'll just do like a really simple like blues thing with this. This is the snare that I would normally use for blues, so I'll just keep it really simple so that you can hear the differences in all the drums, which is helpful because we just got back from playing JC sessions with the blues band, so I am ready for this. So. Yeah, just very basic
Just kind of grooving.
blues groove.
Yeah.
My whole deal in the band is to just kind of keep that going. You
Yeah.
know, like stay in the pocket, don't mess around a whole lot, which I appreciate because I would rather be like behind a wall playing if that was possible. But yeah, it's just holding it down, and yeah. This snare it also has the heavyweight dry head on it from Evans, but this one does not ring out as much. It's a much quieter snare than the others that I have.
Right.
So, yeah.
Works perfect for the boogie machine.
For the boogie machine, it's
Yeah.
great, yeah. It's a lot more mellow.
So yeah, we played that little blues lick, and I find it highly impressive the amount of knowledge that you have gathered and able to retain and know about your drums in the short amount of time that you've been playing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we talked about this earlier, but if y'all don't know, Kip's only been playing for about 2.5 years, and she was scared to death to come here and do a rig rundown.
They made me.
And we made her do it just because I think it's impressive.
Well, thank you.
And,
I've been very lucky though, because I know so many great musicians. I am lucky enough to be able to hang out here at Campbell's with you guys a lot, helping to build kits and stuff, and I've learned so much from that. And just, you know, when Dime Store Cowboys call you up and ask you to sit in with them, you don't say no. Unfortunately, you don't say no. But yeah, it's kind of a funny story. When Daniel Bird found out that I might be interested in playing drums, and I've never been a musician my whole life. I was actually told as a kid that I would never be a musician from a band teacher. So never tell a child that, because it's so messed up. Believed it. You know, I spent a lot of time being the roadie and helping to book shows and hanging out with like metalheads twice my age when I was 14. This band, the Red Death, they kind of took me under their wing. So like I've been around musicians my whole life, and it never clicked. And then somehow, thanks to the good folks here at Campbell's Morel Music, Daniel Bird was able to sneak an entire drum kit, which you see here, into my home for my birthday 2.5 years ago. And I just kind of like walked into the room it was in and looked at it a lot, and like I was afraid to touch it, and I would just be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, this is a lot. Or I'd go in and just like hit a couple drums and be like, okay, that was fun. I'll see you guys later. You know, I was terrified. And I had no help, no lessons, you know, I was just kind of jamming. And I started putting on like Motown or like Audio Slave's self-titled album, which I knew backwards and forwards for years. So I jammed to that. And then the boogie machine ran out of drummers, which it seemed to do a lot. Yeah, oh yeah.
That happens with a lot of bands.
It
Drummers and bass
happens.
players are hard to find in this area.
That rhythm section though.
Yeah.
So Dan asked me if I would, you know, he's like, I think you're okay to do it. And mind you, I've been playing drums for about 6 months at this point. And I, for some reason, agreed to do it. And what I ended up agreeing to was a 4-hour gig at Tulips. And I had 1 month to learn 4 hours of music. Long story short, I did it, and then I laid on the floor of a biker bar and finished my whiskey, and I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. That was the moment where I was just like, this is my life. This is what I should be doing. And I think a lot of musicians in the area do feel that strongly about it.
Oh yeah.
You can't quit it, even if you've tried a million times.
I've tried. We've tried.
I know both of y'all
Me and
have.
Vapor quits every week.
I was gonna say, every time I see y'all, you're done.
We're done.
Selling your rigs.
Like, I think we're quitting tonight.
No, we've got Doom practice.
Oh yeah.
You can't do that.
After that, we'll quit.
So yeah, I've been at it for about 2.5 years now, and I never looked back. I've been very lucky. I've found, you know, Drumeo, shout out to my Drumeo friends. We hosted a clinic here with Sharon Ransom. If you don't know her, she's a brilliant drummer from Canada. She came down and we set up right here at Campbell's and did this amazing clinic. And I've found so much help in that community, so many great friends. If you're interested in playing drums, that's a great place to start. Campbell's also has some awesome teachers right here in the building. Highly recommend doing that. Like, anybody can play drums. I firmly believe that. If I can do it, you can do it.
I don't know if I can do it.
I've seen you do it.
No, not really.
I have video.
We won't show that.
No.
No. So Daniel Bird and the Boogie Machine just got done recording up here with Jared Bentley in the Johnson City warehouse. And so that probably will air, I'm sure, by a week or two.
Next week or so, yeah.
And then any shows coming up with
We
Boogie
are,
Machine?
yeah, we're playing the casino, the Hard Rock Casino in Bristol, the 23rd. think it's like 6. So if you feel like coming out to Bristol, it is a free show. Come on down. We'll be playing there. I'm not sure who our bass player is that night.
Not me.
Magus. It's Magus Vaughn, everybody. Everybody loves Magus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's brilliant. So definitely come out and hang out
Magus
with us.
Vaughn is the greatest musician in the Tri-Cities. Maybe. Probably is.
Yeah, I mean, talk about somebody who can do everything.
He can do everything.
He could do, and like never even breaks a sweat. He's just like, yeah, I got this. So
I love Magus.
I'm being told.
Casinos.
something.
What?
I don't know what that is.
Sign language.
You can fix this in
Yeah,
post. What?
October 6th at Tulips.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can tell you. Thanks. Who's playing with us for that one? Evan? Magus? Do we have a bass player? What are you doing that day?
We got a show
Magus.
that October
Magus.
6th.
All right. So yeah, and we are also playing at Tulips, which is funny, on October 6th. That'll be my 2-year reunion of gigging at the place where I started. So that's fun. I think Magus is also going to be with us for that. So yeah, I'm very excited. And
Yeah.
Appalachian Death Cult, though,
October 26th.
October 27th, Halloween weekend at Capone's.
Yeah. I'll be playing that one.
Yeah. You better be playing that. You're in 2 bands that
Oh, yeah.
night, buddy.
Wilson and the Walk.
Wilson and the Walk, Season of the Witch, and Appalachian Death Cult, right?
Yep. Halloween weekend.
So
Capone's.
excited for that. Please come out. It's going to be a Halloween party for sure. Yeah.
Well, let's see what other snares and goodies you brought.
Let's see what other goodies I brought.
Oh, speaking of Kip playing for 2.5 years and Scott Thomas, and
Scott Thomas.
we like to rag Scott Thomas.
We love Scott Thomas.
We hate Scott Thomas. Nobody likes Scott
I
Thomas.
told Scott Thomas one time that I hated him, but it's just because he's such a good drummer, and he literally came out to our next gig just to be like, "You said you hated me," and I was like, "No, I love you, Scott. You're like what? You're like the best drummer in the Tri-Cities, probably ever. But like, I love you, Scott. You're doing great. I don't hate you. I don't hate you.
I do, Scott.
You be nice to Scott."
I love Scott.
That's what I thought you meant. But speaking of the Dime Store Cowboys, were we talking about the Dime Store Cowboys?
Yeah.
So this is one of my other favorite snares. It's, you guessed it, it's another Tomo with Evans heads. This one is a Bubinga snare, and this is such a gorgeous piece. It is from the Sound Lab project that Tama did, and I actually bought this from Adeline from the Drum Store Cowboys. This snare is wild. It packs such a punch, and like I'm gonna hold this over here and hit
Is that
it.
a 13?
This is a 13, and it's super deep. It's a 13 by 7, and it cracks.
fat, yeah.
I only play this if we were playing outside. It will break everything in my home if I play it indoors. So it's a gorgeous snare, and if you're not aware of Bubinga, they don't really make a lot of drums with that anymore because that tree has gotten largely endangered. So, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle, buy your friends' old drums. But this one is my baby. I'm gonna grab it. And this came from Campbell's, from the good folks at Campbell's who love me very much and take good care of me. Jason and Dave kind of gave me the hookup on this one. This is the only non-Tama drum that I will ever take out. This is a Ludwig, and this is a vintage 70s acrylite. It is in gorgeous condition. You can see, like, there's no pitting. It's still got an original snare on it. I do have HD heavyweight dry head on this as well. This is the snare that I use for Doom. It's loud, it has great tones, and it will absolutely melt your face off if you hit it hard enough. This also has an internal dampener, like a lot of snares back then used to have, so that's really helpful because with the metal body drums, you tend to, those shells create a lot of overtones. So it's really great to have that dampener in there. This is such a gorgeous drum. A lot of drummers now are all after like the Supraphonic, and this is kind of the predecessor of that drum. But you can't have it, it's mine. So yeah, this one tends to be like, it's very responsive. It doesn't have many overtones because I have that internal dampener really cranked up, and I've got a couple of moon gels on here. If I didn't, this thing would ring out like a bell. But this is a gorgeous drum, and it's probably my favorite piece. No offense to my Thomas, but yeah, it's a great.
And if I'm not
vintage
mistaken,
drum.
I think the acrylite, especially of that era, is probably one of the most recorded snare drums in history of music.
Yeah.
So everybody that was anybody
Everyone
recorded.
has.
Yeah.
And it's still, anybody who plays any drum, like
Will have an
most of
acro-
them have some kind of Ludwig snare, an acrolite, a supraphonic, or as Dan calls them, the acrophonics, because it doesn't have a difference. But I don't know his guitar, so
Sounds
it's
like a
fine.
great band name.
Acrophonics.
Yeah. I like it.
Like a little diaspora. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Okay,
Yeah.
save that for later. But yeah, so those are my 3 favorite snares. The one that came with the kit, just perfect balance. Those 2 will just tear your face apart. They are so loud.
I guess the only other thing that we haven't talked about is your sticks and your seat.
Ooh, yes. So this is my second throne that I got here at Campbell's. And they have them in-house now. They are hard to find because they take forever to ship, but I'm going to actually show you guys this. Rock and sock with the back attachment. Cannot recommend that enough. It is super comfortable. I think Josh said something about being lazy and like being able to lean back during a kit. Yeah, absolutely love that. But the rock and sock is super sturdy. They're great quality. They're coming from right over the mountain, right? They're coming from North Carolina. Yeah. And something about them that I really appreciate, having unpacked a lot of them here, they are really big into like upcycling and reusing things. So like all of the parts that they pack are wrapped in the scraps from their upholstery, which I think is really cool. They're very conscientious about that kind of stuff. And there are rock and socks here at Campbell's. And then my sticks are the only thing that I do not get here at Campbell's. You do have to order these essentially from the website. These are called Diamondbacks. They are made from a very small company in Texas. They are a raw hickory. I don't like finished sticks, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, but I prefer to play the raw sticks. They are wood tip. These ones are 5Bs. That's what I play for the most part. But I do have some 2Bs that I've played for Doom in the past. I don't really need them so much anymore, because they are heavy and they do tend to make your hands hurt after a little bit. But yeah, so those are probably, I was gonna see if I have a 2B. The only other pair that I do occasionally play with are my Gavin Harrison Vic Firth sticks, which we do carry here at Campbell's. You can get these here. They are a finished stick. They have like some little grippy section, which is really nice. They are a heavier stick, and the tips are a little bit different, which I love. Honestly, that shape is fantastic, but these are also very
You
high
always prefer
quality.
wood tips over nylon tips?
I do. A lot of people don't. I know it changes the sound, it changes the way you hit them. I like the dynamics that you get with wood tips better, and I've never had any issues with that.
So Diamondback drumsticks.
Diamondback drumsticks.
We need an endorsement. Should
Yeah,
get
give
some
me an
free sticks.
endorsement, because they're really hard to get and they're pretty expensive, I'm not gonna lie. But these are super cool because they use a laser engraver to make a pattern in the stick itself. So it adds to, the grip of them, but they're smooth. You're not gonna like cut yourself on them. They're also not gonna get super worn down really fast. Like if you're playing heavier music especially, or if you're very sweaty, being up there on the stage, you go through a lot of sticks, but these last longer than any other stick that I've played with. And yeah, big fan. Diamondback from Texas.
Awesome. And yeah, for this rig rundown, we're just doing a 2-mic system for the rig rundown with a kick mic there with the AKG, and then the overhead condenser, and always sounds great. It surprises me what kind of sound you can get out of just 2 mics, but running straight in this Tascam interface thing we got going on in his camera, and Appalachian Death Cult and Daniel Bird's Boogie Machine, and we'll throw up all those links and check out their band camps and websites and Facebooks and social medias and all that
Do
stuff.
all the medias. I don't do them, but I know y'all do them. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Go support these local bands. They're putting in a lot of effort, a lot of practice time just to make glorious sounds.
Absolutely. And we're really, really lucky in Johnson City. I know we always kind of talk about this anyway, but to have Campbell's, first of all, this is like the cornerstone of local music. Everyone comes here. Everyone comes here to get their gear, and you should. You should absolutely be here supporting local. Dave does everything he can. These guys do everything they can to support local music, and it's not just saying, oh, we support local. It's like being there for the musicians. Tyler does an amazing job with the repairs. Like, these guys are super knowledgeable, friendly. They've helped me on my journey. They continue to help me on my journey all the time. And we're lucky to have such a cool community of musicians here. So if you're not going out and supporting local music, if you're not going out to Capone's and catching these amazing bands, what are you doing? Like, please come out and support. That's why we're
For sure.
here.
I guess just play us another tasty groove and
Tasty groove, huh?
whatever you want to play. And
I would like to play the piccolo.
piccolo,
I don't play piccolo. That's a lie. I don't do that. Be a lot lighter than the drums.
play something Scott Thomas won't play.
What won't Scott Thomas
don't
play?
know.
I don't.
I just want
I
I just
can't-
want to say his name again. He hates it.
Why? We love Scott Thomas.
No, we don't.
We do. We really do. We also love all of the other drummers that have been on here. Josh Brock, Nathan Federico. You guys are awesome.
Oh, we don't like Nathan at all.
You guys don't, but I do. What a great drummer. But yeah, great musicians. Scott, I don't hate you much. No, I don't hate you. But yeah, I guess I could play a little bit of like some of the slower stuff from Appalachian Death Cult, some of those.
Yeah,
those
whatever you
drummier
want.
riffs.
We'll fade it out and
Okay.
put some music behind it.
All right, I'm gonna change my snare out if
Okay.
that's cool. Play proper Appalachian Death Cult.
Yeah, so we're gonna see what this acrolite sounds like.
It's beautiful and I love it and it's fantastic. And again, I do use a lot of dampeners on this. If you have a steel, like a drum that has a metal shell, it's going to be a lot more overtones than these wooden shells. Oh, one more thing before I move on, because you guys were joking about me talking about this earlier. Tama hand forms all of their shells. I'm looking at you, Vapor. If you were wondering about quality production, they still hand form their shells. So take that to the bank. It's really cool.
We got 3 Tama kits, brand new.
Brand new Tamas. They're so cool. That coffee teak Imperial Star, gorgeous. Come buy it before I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll use the Ludwig Acrolite, the vintage 70s one, and just
bang away.
bang out some parts here. I remember ADC songs.
All right. Thank you, Kip, for doing this thing,
You're
even though we made you
welcome.
do it.
Thank you for bullying me into stuff as always.
Yeah, you did great. And come shop Campbell's music. Come watch Appalachian Death Cult and Daniel Bird's Boogie Machine. And go give them some support and likes and loves and buy everything they merch, whatever they put out there.
That's right. Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.